Dubs. Hey, what Jamie say? Dub.
Dub, baby. First one of the season.
Yes, sir.
You already know what time it is, boy.
What Jamie say? Big dub.
Got a little dub. Ranch is better than blue cheese.
Got that dub. Giants get the dub. Shout out to everybody that's already in the building. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Let the algorithm know that we in the building so we can let the other Giants fans know that we in the building. How's everybody doing? I'm doing fantastic. Victory Saturday. What more can I ask for? What more can I ask for? The Giants look good. The defense looked fantastic. I'm not mad at the offense at all, the starting offense, especially the offensive line. Russ kept the ball moving. Jackson Dart. Heck of a debut for Jackson Dart. Yeah, I'm happy, man. I'm happy with. We're gonna talk about it though. We're gonna break the game down a little bit. We're gonna talk about what we liked. We're gonna talk about some of the things we might not have liked, and some other things we wanted to see. But shout out to everybody in the building already. Let me know if the video was good. Let me know if the audio was good. Let me just give me a thumbs up. I'm gonna do the roll call. A lot of people in the building already. Shout out to everybody that's in here. My man Chill Daddy said first. That was over an hour ago. Big brother in the building said, Big Dash, let's go. Shout out to the Giants. Shout out to my big brother. What's going on, man? DeMarco, happy to see you in here. DeMarco says, Dash, been ready to have this conversation. That's a fact. We got some things to talk about. Saw a lot of things that I liked. Tyrone Hall, what's going on? He said, we ready. Luann in the building said, Giants looking good. That's a fact. So good, she said she had to say it twice. In there twice. My man, is it Whiny Centaur? Hyped. Yeah, I'm hyped about this one, man. The Giants went out there, put up over 30 points. Who do we think we are? Putting up 30 points in the preseason game? I love it. Luann says, let's go, G-Men. My man, Whiny Centaur says, we going to the Super Bowl, baby. Hey. From your mouth to God's ears. That's all I got to say about that. Side Guy Bry, what's going on, Side Guy Bry? He says, bring on the Jits. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, listen, the joint practices are coming up, but listen, the Jets can wait. We're gonna enjoy this win for a little bit, at least for a day or two. We're gonna enjoy this win. My man Jessa said, yo, what's going on, Jessa? Xavier Anderson says, what up, my guy? What's going on, Xavier? Shout out to everybody that's in the building. My man Chewy said, W. Independent outsider, Mr. Dave Denton says, seriously, are we ever going to effectively defend against the run? Dart does look promising. We shall see. We're going to talk about that because that second team defense had an issue tackling for sure. They couldn't do a thing against the first defense. They couldn't do a thing. That second defense, they had some issues tackling for sure. We're going to get into it, though. My man Leo Lucas says, hey, Big Dash, happy Saturday. Glad football is back. That's a fact. It's going to be a long time before we don't have football again, between college football, the NFL. It is what it is for the next couple of months. Until 2026, you know what it is. We got football. Luann says, Dub, my man Born for Sports. Shout out for Born for Sports. He was going live during the game. I was able to hang out with him and TP for a little bit while they was going live for a stream. And yeah, we had a good old time and enjoying the New York Giants putting a little bit of a beat down on the Buffalo Bills for sure. He says, yo, salute Dash Giants Nation. Make sure y'all smash the subscribe button. To Big Dash knows I appreciate that. Nothing but love and support. And again, if you are a Giants fan and not subscribed to my man, Born for Sports, make sure you go ahead and do that. Shout out to my man right there. Jester says, anybody going to be at week 1? I'm pretty sure. Week 1. I know Born for Sports, he's at all the home games. I'm not sure who's going to week 1. I know it's a lot of people that's going. It's a Commanders game, so you most likely you see Authentic out there. You'll probably see Authentic because I know he lives in that DMV area, and he'll probably be at that game for sure. And license plate guy going definitely be there. So you definitely got some people to hang out with if you're going to that first game in DC or Virginia, wherever it is right now. Whiny Cento says, honestly, a great day. Nah, it felt good, man. It absolutely felt good. Chewy says, Dash open with a big smile. That's a fact. That is a fact. Listen, there's a lot of good things that I saw. And, I've already watched the game twice. I actually just finished watching it for a second time. because I definitely wanted to see what Russ and that offensive line did, and I'm happy to report that JMS did a pretty good damn job. JMS did not disappoint, and I'm happy about that. I'm very happy about that. My man David said, I've been looking forward to this. Nah, I've been looking forward to it. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Shout out to the family. The Big Blue Nation is in the building. You already know what it is. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Mellow Trey says, what's good, Big Dash? As a team overall, we look good. We're back. We're back. So good, had to say it twice. My man Javi says, what's really good? He said that front seven is going to be insane. Now, that's a fact. That's a fact. And then Born for Sports. I know we were going back and forth about Abdul Carter in that first series. You were absolutely right. He was out there. I saw Tibbs. I saw Burns. There was a couple plays where they had him lined up like a DT, man. They snuck him out there on the field, man. He was doing this thing, too. They putting him all over the place already. Thank you for letting me know the video is good and the audio is good. I appreciate that. Ethan Johnson says, hey, bro, what's going on, Ethan? My man Hart and Finish Kendall says, salute, Big Dash. Salute to you. We in here, man. Shout out to the 71 people already in the building. Make sure you hit that like button. Wipe your feet before we step in the Giants' house, man. All right, man. All right, we're going to talk about some things. First off, congrats to the Giants for the first victory, even though it's only the preseason of the 2025 season. I will say this. When it came to the first team defense, first team offense, I'll start off with the defense, right? I'll start off with the highs of the highs, right? Buffalo couldn't do a thing against this defense, and we didn't even have Dexter Lawrence on the field. We were able to stop the run that first team. Again, I'm talking about the first team, those first couple of series where the starters were out there. My man, Roy Robinson Harris, showed that he is one of those guys that are in the running to be the DT next to, Dexter Lawrence. He had a BS call against him. The roughing the passer call was a trash call by the refs. But he got busy today. Pause. So shout out to Robinson Harris, man. Roy Robinson Harris doing this thing out there. You saw Burns get pressure. You saw Micah McFadden make a play in the passing game. They tried to leak the running back out. He was all over it. Came in, laid the wood. Pause. You saw Bobby Okereke on a little bit of a gap blitz, was able to get some pressure. It was, and then we really didn't get the chance to see the secondary get tested on the first group. So you know what? The pass rush was doing its job. The run defense looked pretty solid too. And again, Dexter Lawrence was not on the field, and I'm happy about that. Absolutely happy about that. Flip it to the offensive side. A little bit of dinking and dunking. Russ was taking a lot of what the defense was giving him. You saw some check downs. You saw the tight ends get involved. I love that. You saw us try to run the ball. Tracy got to hold on to the ball, even though it wasn't ruled a fumble. His knee was down. You got to hold on to the ball throughout the play. I understand that he didn't officially fumble, but they did knock that ball loose. So Tracy got to clean that up. But again, nice, strong performance by those guys. Turbo Miller. I put a tweet out. Turbo Miller definitely wants a job. Turbo Miller saw his opportunity, and he ran with it. No pun intended. He had 100 all-purpose yards. 80 of it was receiving yards. Shout out to Turbo Miller. Another 22 yards on the ground, so 100 total for Turbo Miller. Shout out to him. Marcus Bowe. There's a couple of game balls I'm gonna give out a little bit later, and I'm gonna let you guys, give out some game balls as well. Let me get back to these comment sections real quick though. My man Lewis says, Matt, I had to work, G, man. Listen, it's all over the place, man. If you got the NFL Plus, you'll see it again. If you got the NFL Network through your cable subscriber, they'll play the replay for sure. You probably see it like 2 a.m. or something like that. I haven't seen the actual schedule yet, but you'll get a chance to see it, man, for sure. Mellow Trade says, Dart ain't scared to throw the rock and take a hit. We're going to talk about that. Stand and deliver. Luann still staying strong with let's go 4-0 for the start. That's a fact. Listen. I mean, I'm not even going to waste no time. Jackson Dart, man. And we talked about this a little bit during my man Born for Sports' stream today too. I needed to see that from Jackson Dart. I really needed to see Jackson Dart have some success today. And it was about Jackson Dart for sure. It was about myself too, selfishly too. Because of what happened last night. Yet last night we saw Shedeur Sanders have a pretty good debut. Actually, not even a pretty good, a really good debut. And you already saw a lot of like the beat writers and sports media people already starting to point at the Giants, saying, well, Jackson Dart got to turn around. And Jackson Dart did exactly that. He had a great showing. He showed that he was aggressive with the ball, pushed the ball down the field. We saw him running a little bit as well, too. And yeah, almost 200 all-purpose for Jackson Dart. Got the touchdown. Also had a couple balls that were batted, something that you can work on. But again, for his debut as a New York Giant, I don't really have any complaints when it comes to Jackson Dart. He's still growing, he's still developing, and I really like what I saw today, and it's very promising. Brian Dable was at the podium after the game. He was singing Jackson Dart's praises. Right now, it's crazy too, because we all feel like Brian Dable is pretty much tied at the hip of Jackson Dart. If Jackson Dart can be successful, that bodes well for Brian Dable. And I think every time that you can have a positive showing, it's a win for Brian Dable if it's a win for Jackson Dart for sure. Let me get some more of these comments. My man Windy Simpson says, y'all see the 70-yard field? Yeah, I just saw that from the Jaguars kicker. Crazy. It's crazy that it won't officially count as a real record because it's the preseason, but to kick a 70-yard field goal is crazy. Shout out to that man. You figure he probably got the job. He probably got the job. Childy says, bro, I think the spider just crawled on you. A spider? What are you talking about? I don't got no listen. Plus, I got too much black on. Maybe it might be the bed. My bed's got a little bit of grays in it. Maybe that's what you saw. Maybe you saw some of that. But yeah, trust me, I don't like spiders. If I saw a spider, you would know. Shout out to my man Seti. Says, what up, Dash? What's going on, Seti? How we feeling, Seti? I like the performance today from these guys. Shout out to you. Luann says, I didn't mean to send it twice. Listen. Even if you didn't mean it, I enjoyed it. Again, let's go Giants. Let's go Giants. All right. Ethan Johnson says, spider on your head. That's crazy. All right, so we already know we got the troll in the building. So let's go ahead and take care of this right now. Let's go ahead and we're putting people on timeout. Big Blue for Life says, hit the like button. It's free. Salute the Dash. I appreciate you. Thank you for the love and support. Bluey says, keep Turbo, trade Singletary. That's interesting. We're going to talk about that. Again, Turbo had a heck of a day. I think he needed it, especially with his story coming from where he came from and, making it to the practice squad last year. And we really didn't get a chance to see him show his stuff last year. Pause. This game, every opportunity that he had, he made the best of it today. So shout out to Turbo Miller. He definitely gets one of the game balls from me today. Shout out to him, man. Great performance, man. Great performance from him. They brought the screen game back. We had a couple successful screens. We had a couple of them, So if we can successfully run a screen, we in business. We in business, man. JJ the King says, I'm gonna say this once, Giant fans still crying about Sanders. Shut the F up and go be a Browns fan. This is Dart's team now. Get it when you fit in. New York Giant for life. Couldn't say it better myself. It is what it is. Jackson Dart did what he needed to do today. Shut a lot of people up for sure. I tell you this, though. You're going to start seeing some people talk about, well, we should start Jackson Dart. Pump the brakes on that. Let this boy continue to develop. Let the kid develop. If you want him to be all that he can be, let him keep doing what he's doing. That's what we saw today. And he did that. And he did that against some of the starters from the Buffalo Bills. They weren't all sitting at that time. It was still some people out there. Shout out to little Jordan Humphrey for getting open. And shout out to Jackson Dart for hanging in there, taking the hit, and also delivering the ball out there. So shout out. Listen, the Giants did their thing today. I'm very pleased. Very pleased. Xavier Anderson's Banks need to turn this damn head around. Yeah. Still, yeah, it is what right now, it is what it is. That man is not turning his head around. He's playing through the hands. He got bailed out today too because that one receiver couldn't get both feet in, but that one-handed catch. But yeah, he is what he is. He absolutely is what he is. He's comfortable. He's comfortable with playing through the hands, and I just think we got to get used to that, or we got to wait till somebody can come in and replace him. But hopefully, he can continue to make plays the way he's doing it right now. My man Born for Sports says Commanders defense fooled week 1. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, JD5 going to be cooked with his pass rush. Nah, listen. they didn't even like outside of that 1A gap blitz from Bobby Okereke, we were getting pressure with just 4. And that's exactly what Bowen wants to do. He wants to be able to get pressure with 4 and be able to place, some zone in the back. And I think we got the horses finally to be able to do it. We saw Brian Burns, and listen, Mitch Trubisky was in danger. The whole those first couple of series against the starting defense, Trubisky couldn't do anything. He couldn't do it. What was they had like I said, the only time they really moved the ball against the first team defense was on the BS roughing the passer, and that was BS. And another thing, like I said, I did rewatch the game. That hold on Hudson, like remember he had the false start, then he turned around and had the hold. That hold was iffy. Like if you really look at that play, I don't know if it was a hold. If I had like the end zone view, I might be able to see a little bit better. But I don't know if that was really a hold like that, man. Maybe not enough for the flag, I should say. But again, the false starts, the penalties, we can't have that. We can't. I think we had 10 penalties all together. We got to clean those things up. There's no reason why we should have that many penalties in the preseason for sure. My man Born for Sports says, yeah, bro, Carter was out there. Good. Yeah, that's a fact. Listen, and that one chance that he had, he almost got the sack on Trubisky. I just wish he would have got it. Like I said, us as Giants fans, we're starving, right? We're starving for these playmakers to make these plays, and then not having Dex, and then seeing Abdul Carter almost get there, Brian Burns almost get there, even Tibbs almost get there. Like we starving for it, but we still had a good showing overall. Good showing overall. My man DeMarco says Carter was in the backfield every snap. He was in the game. I swear I thought his very first play was a sack when he took the inside. Listen, they're letting us, and it was very vanilla still. They had certain lineups in there. We saw all 3 edge rushers on the field at the same time, but it was still very vanilla, and we were still able to get pressure with a vanilla scheme. So just imagine when we really let loose, week 1. It should be something to see, and I'm excited about that because we played fast. Everybody looked fast. Micah McFadden looked fast. Like we looked fast, man, and I'm excited about that, man. Shout out to my man Big Moo says, hey, Big Dash, hey, guys. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to my man Big Moo. Let's go ahead and shout out to my man Mark Stewart. Mark Stewart, salute the Big Blue Nation. Member for 4 months. Shout out to you. Shout out to the Big Moo, a new member. Shout out to you. Welcome to the Big Blue Nation. Thank you for the love and support. All right, let's see what we got going on. Don, what's going on? Don said, salute Big Dash. That's a fact. Good Eats, what's going on? Good Eats says Turbo won us this game. If we're being honest, he made a lot of plays, man. And shout out, listen, if I run it down, all 4 quarterbacks had a good game. Even Tommy DeVito had a good game. Jameis Winston was able to get a touchdown. You know what I mean? Pretty much every quarterback except for Russell Wilson got a touchdown today. Like we put up 30 plus points. Now, let's talk about this defense a little bit, right? Let's talk about this defense. And like I said, we're going to get to some of the good stuff again too, but that second team defense, man. Like everybody that was given, not saying you guys in here, maybe some of you guys in here too. I was getting a lot of pushback when I was saying we got to play the starters. We got to play we need to be tackling to the ground. We need live tackling. We need live reps. Joint practice is cool, but it's still only third practice. And I hope that everybody saw today, especially with the second team, how important these preseason games are. First time guys really had a chance to tackle, and you saw we had some issues with the tackling. Like, again, I'm happy. I'm excited about this game. I'm excited for the dubs. But when you really break down this game, we got some things to talk about. And the tackling got to be better. The tackling has to be better. Understand, it's a second team. Second team is a second team. Some of those guys might not even make the 53. But at the end of the day, you're a paid professional, even in the preseason. You gotta finish these plays, man. You gotta finish these plays. John May said, let Turbo do the kickoffs. You know what's crazy? I was thinking about that too, because it's almost like with the money that we're paying Singletary, it's kind of hard to either waive him or try to cut him and get rid of him. And when you think about Turbo Miller, it's like, okay, he had a great showing today, but what else can he do? If he can return kicks, then you might be able to squeeze him on the 53. He has to show value in every category. Well, offense, special teams, out there being a gunner, making tackles. He has to show everything in order to make this 53. Now, if it wasn't about the money with Devin Singletary, again, we're talking about eating a lot of cash. If it wasn't about the money, Turbo Miller, a lot of people, if you poll the fans right now, they going with Turbo over Motor for sure. I just don't know if the coaches feel the same way now. I will say this though, he was on display today. And again, I'm just proud. I'm just proud of and I'm happy for Turbo Miller for sure. Born for Sports says, go check out Baldy's breakdown on Abdul Carter today. I didn't get a chance to see it yet. He says everything we thought we saw watching live replay is confirmed. I got to check that out. I'll make sure I check that out. It's on Twitter because Baldy's always good for, posting some videos on Twitter. Shout out to Baldy too. Brian Baldinger for those that don't know who he might be talking about. But Brian Baldinger always has some good breakdowns and always shows the Giants some love too. So I'll say this though, man. When I got the news this morning, and shout out to Art Stapleton for breaking the news first when he said that, the starters were going to play. Russell Wilson will be starting today. I was super excited. We get all the way down to game day. You find out that, of course, I didn't think Neighbors was going to play anyway, but it's no Neighbors, no Slayton, no Jalen Hyatt. I'm sitting here like, yo, these are guys I want to see outside of Neighbors. Again, I don't need to see Neighbors, Dex, or Andrew Thomas. But I did want to see Slayton. I definitely wanted to see Jalen Hyatt, but he was not healthy enough to go, and I was a little upset about that. You guys know how I feel about Jalen Hyatt, man. He needs to take advantage of all his opportunities. And we didn't get a chance to see those guys. And I'm like, hold on a minute. So we got the starting offensive line. We got Russ with the tight ends, but his starting receivers, Zach Pascal, and I don't even know who. Well, Wan'Dale Robinson was out there, and he had a nice play from Russ too. But yo, I was like, come on, man. Come on. You're going to throw Russ out there and not give him all his weapons, but he still was able to move the ball. Shout out to Russ, man. And quick decisions, man. Quick decisions. That's what I wanted to see. I put out a tweet before the game. I said things that I was expecting to see. I said we might see a couple of deep shots, and we did. We just didn't see it from Russ, really. But I expected it to be just about timing, a lot of short intermediate routes, and that's exactly what we saw. We did see a couple of checkdowns to the tight end and to the running backs. But overall, again, Russ was quick with his decision-making, didn't hold on to the ball too long. We didn't give up a single sack in the game for all four quarterbacks. Imagine that. You don't even have to imagine it because that was true today. So I think Brian Dable said we had about 54 passing downs, and we didn't give up any snaps. I mean, any sacks. So I'm happy about that. My man Quiz, what's going on, Quiz? He says Carter was a force made. It made it look easy. I like it. Big Blue. That's a fact. Listen, and I was happy that he played the defense as long as he did because he didn't play the offense long enough, in my opinion. Not the first team, especially not the offensive line. But the defense had some good run. The defense got some good run. I'm curious to see what they do next week against the Jets. Normally, when we have these joint practices, they don't play the starters in the game. I think if the Jets go out there with their starters, I think we should go run these guys back out there. I really do believe that. Excuse me. My man Atlantic Lion says, man, oh man, I have been waiting for this. Nah, I've been waiting for it, man. I couldn't wait. I almost wanted to do a recap right after the game, but I was like, nah. I'm gonna wait for the late night Giants talk. Everybody can be here. It's not a surprise, and we could talk about some things. Shout out to the 137 people in here, right? Make sure you keep hitting that like button, man. My man Kyler says Russ looked washed. LOL. He better stop before Dart start breathing down his neck. Pause. Some people will feel that way. Because again, when we saw Dart in there, we saw him push the ball downfield. But it's not just about that. It's about the timing and the offensive line and building that chemistry. The offensive line needs to know how long Russ will really holds on to the ball. Russ needs to know how much time he really has to operate behind his offense. And he was 6 for 7. Again, he only had 28 yards, but they were moving the ball downfield. And without those 2 penalties, he probably gets a touchdown as well. But I understand what you're saying. Like, a lot of people are excited for the shiny new toy. Jackson Dart is a shiny new toy, had a great debut. Not going to take anything away from that. He still needs to develop, though. We saw it. Leo Lucas says, I can't wait to see Scatterboo and Malik. Probably won't see Malik. Definitely need to see Scatterboo, though. Hopefully his hamstring heals up good enough for him to go for the Jets game. We got some good news earlier today, too, with Andrew Thomas possibly being ready to practice this week coming up. We'll see what happens with that. But that was a report that I saw on Twitter. Might have been Stapleton, might have been Jordan Renan. I can't remember right away right now, though, but I did see that. JJ the King said, facts. Let him develop. Don Sherry said, let him develop. Nah, that's a fact, man. That's a fact. Isaac Moore says, danger, watch yourself. What happened? What's the danger? Somebody was talking trash in here? My man Atlantic Line says, I don't care if Dart goes for 400 yards or 4 touchdowns next preseason game. Sit him until next season. You sit him as long as the New York Giants are winning. That's pretty much what it is. If we're struggling, then you might see a push, especially from the fan base. But I think it's ideal for him to sit and learn behind Russell Wilson. Why not? Why throw him to the wolves when you don't have to? Because you really don't have to. And then I saw a lot of people saying they're willing, because Jackson Dart has such a great performance. They said we should trade Jameis Winston to see what we can get for him. No, Jameis Winston is the backup to Jackson Dart in 2026. We got him for a great price. Let's pump the brakes on trying to get rid of Jameis Winston. Why ruin something that's good right now? We have never had a quarterback room this complete as far as 3 quarterbacks deep. I'm not trying to compare it to Eli in the Super Bowls. I'm just saying, as far as first string, second string, third string quarterback, this is probably one of the best quarterback rooms we ever had. If you're looking at all 3 quarterbacks, in my opinion. Chewy said F Banks garbage, would rather give Hawkins a shot. Shit, that probably won't happen. That probably won't. I like Hawkins too coming out. They actually said he was improving too. But again, if you can't get into these games, man, we got to be able to see you make plays in these games. The Big Moose says the starting defense was freaking swarming. It was great to see. It was, man. I was actually like surprised at how fast, because I expected the defensive line to be good and to get pressure. But the way the linebackers were moving, again, that play by Micah McFadden, the play recognition, being able to get that and separate the running back from the ball, I think that was probably one of the better plays from the defense, man, especially starting off. We really didn't even get a chance to see the safeties do much because the first 2 levels was taking care of business. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm happy, man. Shout out to my man EJ, says might just be me, but I was underwhelmed with JDS performance. Underwhelmed, huh? You got to talk about it, man. I need a little bit more information, EJ. Let me know what you didn't like or what was underwhelming about it. I think for a debut coming from where he came from, especially the Ole Miss scheme, and you saw him be comfortable. We saw a little bit of running. We saw him be aggressive with his passing. I like what I saw, man. I like what I saw. And shout out to Montrell Washington. That it was a nice little pass he took for some Maniac. I think he turned what a 5-yard pass into like a 30-yard gain. Shout out to him on that same drive where Jackson Dart got the touchdown to Humphrey. All right, Atlantic Line, I'm glad you said it. I heard Marcus Bo tape looked real good today. If Bo is legit, Lord have mercy. Marcus Bo played both sides. So he played right tackle and left tackle today. I don't think he lost a rep. I don't think he lost a single rep on the right side or the left side. He was just moving people. He was just moving people. They tried the speed rush. He was right there. They tried the bull rush. He was right there. He wasn't giving up anything. And if he continues to improve, and if he can, repeat what he did this, in this game next week in practice versus the Jets and in the next preseason game, when we talk about what are we going to do possibly if Andrew Thomas gets hurt again, you're staring at him. Marcus Bo. Maybe you move Illuminor to left tackle and put Marcus Bo at right tackle, but if he can play both sides the way that he played today, I think you ain't got to worry about a thing. I think he might be one of those guys that is a future bookend tackle, once Illuminor possibly goes or something like that, or, I'm hoping for the best with Andrew Thomas. I'm hoping that he stays healthy. But Marcus Bull right now, I'm relaxed right now with Marcus Bull. I'm definitely relaxed. Luann says, "What up with Hyatt? He didn't play hamstring. It was a hammy. I thought he was good to go. I know he practiced in the most recent practices. He was out there, but he was also held out, late last week. But I believe it's still a hammy, and they decided not to let him go. And I was, like I said, I'm upset about that because he's one of those guys that needs the reps for sure." Leo Lucas says, "To be fair with Wilson, he only got one drive. He had played a quarter. He might have had a touchdown. If James Hudson didn't cause those 2 penalties, he probably gets a touchdown too. Maybe Tyrone Tracy is the one that gets a touchdown. But they were on the move, man. You get all the way down to the 28. You get back-to-back penalties that backs you up. The next thing you know is 2nd and 25. Drive killer, man. Those 10 penalties on the day. We can't be having that, man. And for those penalties to come from Hudson, and again, I think the hold was, iffy. But you can't have that, man. You can't kill drives because that one pass, like I said, Wilson was on time. That one pass to Wan'Dale Robinson on the left side on the comeback route, the timing was perfect. As soon as he came back out of the dig, the ball was right there on him. First down. That's what you want to see. Russ did not look rattled. Again, a lot of those throws were some check downs. But again, if people are covered, look who his wide receivers were. You think if it was Neighbors and Slayton out there, those guys would have got open on the outside. Again, we played against the starters. We had guys that are probably not going to make the roster at wide receiver playing with Russ today. Like, all that stuff matters. You got to take that stuff into consideration for sure. Isaac Moore says Turbo can catch them. Yeah, he did good today. 80 yards in the receiving game. Shout out to him. Isaac Moore says buy motor kaput. That's hilarious. Kaput is hilarious. Kaput is hilarious. James says need to take best wide receiver in the first round in 2026. I'm not mad at adding weapons. Depending on what happens too, because it's a contract year for Wan'Dale. You really need an X receiver, big body X receiver, in my opinion, because Neighbors can play the slot. Neighbors can play outside. He has that versatility inside and outside. We need a true X on the outside, big body wide receiver. And there's a couple in this class coming up. We'll see what happens though. Shout out to my man Nimma in the building. What's going on, Nimma? He says Jackson Dart played excellent today. He did. He played well. My man EJ said he was underwhelmed. I need to see what happened, EJ. Let me know what happened, man. What was underwhelming? Could he have been better? Absolutely. Again, this is a debut, first time in the NFL. You know what I mean? I think he did pretty well. There was one case where I think he held on to the ball a little too long. He was able to get positive yards out of it anyway. It was like a short scramble, like 2 yards, able to get back to the line of scrimmage. But it wasn't perfect. By far, it wasn't perfect. But he took the shots, man, and he had enough completions to move the ball down the field. It wasn't stagnant at all. And right now, what else could you ask for? I'm still waiting to see what these other rookie quarterbacks do. We saw Shador. We saw Jackson Dart so far. I still need to see Cam Ward. I need to see Tyler Shuck. Not really, but just curious to see what he does. We need to see those things. We saw, what's the kid that went to Syracuse that plays for the Eagles now? Kyle McCord didn't have a good showing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Right now, Cam Ward, Tyler Shuck, those are the guys that I'm looking at next, man, as far as rookie quarterbacks. But I think our rookie, our guy, Jackson Dart, I think he did a good job in his debut for sure. John May says, I think they value Singletary's leadership in that young room. I mean, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But he got to back it up, man. He needs the production. He had a couple chances today. There was a third down where Russ did feel some pressure and he couldn't get the dump off. He was just off target, and it looked like if that pass was a little bit more accurate, that Singletary probably would have turned that into about 10 to 15 yards. But again, you got to take advantage of the opportunities. And I think there was a conscious effort to run the ball, even though we didn't do it much. They did stick to it. We had some occasions where we converted on fourth down with Tyrone Tracy. And again, Born for Sports said it, man. There were some situations where it was short yard downs that we would have loved to see Cam Scatterable. I would have loved to see Cam Scatterable today, especially in some of those short down plays. And again, we were able to convert. We were able to convert with Tyrone Tracy, but let's be honest, man. We want to see Cam Scatterable. We really do. I think everybody does. Nicholas Pepito says, sign Christian Wilkins and let's dominate. Listen, if you would have, before all the stories and all that other stuff, I probably would be all for it. The money would mean something, but they talking about how he could be an issue in the locker room and stuff like that. I'm not trying to mess up this chemistry at all. When it comes to Christian Wilkins, not trying to do that. Plus, he's not even healthy right now, and they're talking about he won't really be healthy until like November. So we got some time to address that. If we get into the season and we really can't stop the run, or we're having issues and stuff like that, he could possibly be an option. I'm not going to be 100% against it, but right now, I'm cool. I'm cool right now. I'm cool right now. The defensive tackles made some play. DJ Davidson got a sack today. Happy to see that he was back healthy. He's trying to make a push. Didn't really see much from Jordan Riley. We saw Darius Alexander in the second half. He was getting double teamed like crazy. And he won't be getting double teamed if he's playing next to Dex. Dex is the one getting double teamed. So, but he still showed good push. He was right there in the backfield for a couple of some run stops, or at least muddying up the pocket and stuff like that. So I think he had a good showing, but I got to see Darius Alexander closer to like with the second team or the first team. He was with the second team and the third team today. Still got some decent snaps though. Big Moose says we need to keep Turbo, explosive player. Doesn't make sense financially to get rid of Motor. Plus we need him. Someone goes down, he'll be there. Listen. One thing that Turbo has is speed, and we saw it on display today. You can't teach it, you can't practice and just manifest it. He's fast like that, man, and his speed had a lot to do with a lot of his plays today. And I do think there's a place on this team for him if he continues to make plays like that. Tyrone Tracy is a playmaker. Cam Scatterable is a playmaker. But Turbo can take it to the house from anywhere on the field. That he has that type of speed, and I don't think there's any other running back in our room that can do or has that kind of speed. I'm not saying that they can't do what he can do, but nobody has that type of speed in that running back room. Isaac said trash wide receivers. Yeah, man. We ran out the backups of the backups when it came to the wide receivers for us. We have to take that into consideration. Have to. My man Leo Lucas says Fedoni looked really good. He's a really big guy, a giant, no pun intended. Nah, he did do good on the 2-point conversion that he got from Russ. From Jameis. Just high pointed. It was an alley-oop. You got 6'6", 6'5" tight ends. Throw the lob, man. Play basketball in the end zone, man. We saw it today. Guys on display. He's versatile. He's a better receiver than a lot of people give him credit for. He was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, dealt with some injuries at Nebraska, but he put his talent on display too, man. I was happy to see pretty much all of the tight ends get involved. I think all of them had catches. Theo had a catch. Bellinger had a catch. Dosick was getting involved. Fedoni got involved. So this tight end room, I like this tight end room. The question is, how many tight ends do you keep? I'm gonna ask you guys that question. How many tight ends do we keep? Do we keep 4 tight ends? Do we keep 3 tight ends? We really didn't see nothing from Manhurts today. But Dosick, Theo Johnson, Bellinger, Fedoni, all these guys got involved today, man, and I loved it. The Big Moose says, I finally feel comfortable with our quarterbacks. Good feeling not having to hold your breath on every play. That's a fact. Peace of mind is priceless. And I do have a peace of mind right now when it comes to that quarterback room. Peace of mind is priceless. Holly Saylor, shout out to Holly. She says, wish we could have seen Scatterable. Now, that's a fact. That's an absolute fact. This is the perfect time for Scatterable. There were some situations that would have been perfect for Scatterable today. And again, those short downs. And I would love to see what he would have been able to do with some of those runs. Like that first converted 4th down that Tracy was able to get to the right side and squeeze and get the first down. I wonder what Scatterable would have did in that situation. Perfect situation to see what he was made of, man. And we just didn't have a chance to see that. And that sucks, man. It sucks. And the injuries suck, man, especially when it comes to hamstrings and running backs. Is there a more important muscle? or ligament, hamstring, whatever. James says makes me nervous when play breaks down, and that's been the knock on Wilson last 3 years. We saw it today where he was able to maneuver and and still get the ball off, still get the check down. He's not the Russell Wilson of old. I keep saying that. We know that. But I think he did make quick decisions today. We might not have liked the check downs and in the short stuff, but he was taking what the defense gave him. Again, this is the very first time that these guys were facing live bullets, all the quarterbacks. And I think they did. I think they all did a good job. Excuse me. Ryan O'Keefe says Dart looks strong and confident. Let the boy watch. Nah, for real, man. It's no like we're all excited about it. I felt a lot of pressure like lift off of me when I saw that touchdown pass by Dart. Again, because you guys, like I said, for the people that know me, shout out to the people that are new. Just join the live stream. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. But for the people that know me, I was heavy Shedeur Sanders, right? And then when we got Jackson Dart, I'm like, yeah, we riding with Jackson Dart, and for it's gonna unfortunately, those two might be tied at the hip just because where they got drafted, and the whole stuff that we did, the workups going up into the draft and stuff like that. These guys are gonna be tied at the hip. And after the performance last night by saying this, I'm like, okay, let's see what our boy Dart can do. And he did not disappoint. And like I said, I'm happy about that. I'm happy about Dart. We saw him scramble, had a nice game. What was it, like 15, 16 yards on the scramble? So, yeah, man. What he had, what, I think, 20, almost 30 yards rushing on 3 carries. So, yeah, man, shout out to Dart, man. Good performance. Seti says Fedoni is a red zone threat. That's a fact. Oh man, JJ says let's beat the Jets. Show them who run New York, the Big Blue Wrecking Crew. Man, listen. And I think I'm out. The Jets. I think play tonight if they're not playing right now. Yeah, I'm definitely going to tune in for that Jets game. I think if we can get this kind of pressure on the Buffalo Bills with their starting offensive line, because that was their starting offensive line out there, then I like our chances against the Jets. I like our chances against everybody right now. This defensive line is no joke. This front is no joke. We're going to get pressure in a lot of it. And I don't know if they're going to be prepared for the type of heat that the New York Giants are bringing. I mean, just let the people know they've been warned, man. Kyler says, now I do think Russ should start, but Russ was supposed to sit in 2012 and play well and replace Matt Flynn, I believe. Yes, that's absolutely what happened. Also, Allen was supposed to sit, but started week 3. I think definitely wait till 2026. It's scenarios can change. Russell Wilson did come and start over Matt Flynn. He got it. He got in there right away. And they had just paid Matt Flynn too, and it was just undeniable that he was the better quarterback. And he ended up starting. When it came to Josh Allen, we just saw what was it, Giants Life or one of the Giants shows that they put out, and it wasn't in their plans to start Josh Allen, but I think it was Peterman. I forget who it was that was starting over Josh Allen. He just was horrible. And it was like one game where he threw like 4 interceptions in the first half. And they just was like, you know what? We're going with Josh in the second half, and then the rest is history. So it's different scenarios. Russ can go out there and look horrible, and then the next thing you know, they're going to be calling for Dart, especially if he ties up 2 more preseason performances like he did right now. But I'm just saying, for me right now, to your point, how you ended it, this is valuable time where Jackson Dart can sit and learn, get all of the reps you can in preseason, and then if need be, we might see him in 2025. But for me, he can sit the whole year. And if he does sit the whole year, that means the New York Giants are winning. And that's what I want, more than anything. More than anything. Shout out to my man, the Big Move with the $5 super chat.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Big Move says, what do we do with DeVito? He'll never clear waivers, but he's a good player and a fan favorite. Somebody will claim him. He's going to the practice squad. Just think, when you claim a quarterback, that means you're putting them on your active roster. And I don't think we need to worry about any other teams putting him on the active roster, because for the most part, how many teams really carry 3 quarterbacks, right? And then you got to like DeVito so much that you put him on the 53, and that's a full-on roster spot. So, because I don't think he makes this team. I do believe we're able to get him on the practice squad if he wants to. He might feel slighted. He might feel like, you know what, you guys cut me. I don't want to be here. That would be, a poor decision on his behalf. But no, I mean, I think DeVito makes the practice squad. I think he can make it through waivers. I don't think anybody claims him, man. He did have a good day today, though. I think he had some good throws today. He was able to take the team down the field and score. So, shout out to Vito. It's all love, man. Shout out to Jersey, man. What was that? Cedar Grove. Shout out to Cedar Grove, man. That's where he's from. So, shout out to him. Let me get back to the comments. Give me a second. See where I was at. My man, Solitary Camp says we might have something in Dart. I was wrong. Listen, man, you ain't got to say that. Listen, a lot of people had reservations about Dart. I had reservations about Dart. I didn't like the Ole Miss scheme, but he had some traits. He does push the ball. He does have some athleticism. He is tough as hell. Like he did. That was on display today. We saw him run. I wish he would slide. He needs to learn how to slide for sure. You can't be running over, you can't run over NFL linebackers like you ran over college linebackers. It's not the same thing. Learn to slide. Brother needs to learn how to slide for sure. Don't risk your shoulders in the preseason. Please don't. My man, Big Blue for Life says, "Yo, Dash was good, my dude. How about Thomas Thomas Fidoni's getting a lot of love, man. And I told you guys, man, as far as these tight ends go, how many do we keep? I think Fidoni most likely makes it. I think the guy staring from the outside looking in is Manhurts. I think Bellinger's here. The only reason why Bellinger gets cut is if they're talking about the money. If it's an issue with the money, that's the only time you'll see Bellinger get cut. Other than that, he's the second. To me, he's the best tight end that we have on the squad right now. Shout out to Theo Johnson. I just think he's better than Theo Johnson right now. I think Theo Johnson's ceiling is higher than Bellinger. But right now, today, I do like Daniel Bellinger more. But I'm not mad at a Fidoni, Bellinger, and Theo Johnson tight end room. I'm not mad at that at all. And again, Dosage is doing this thing too. So we'll see what happens with that. That's going to be an interesting. When we cut the roster down to 53, I'm curious to see what that tight end room looks like. Ryan O'Keefe says if Dart gets a start, it should be the week before the bye. Take the bye week. Oh, the week be the week of the bye. He says take the bye week to study film, then move forward. Listen, that's all the way in week 13. I'm not mad at that. That's one of the things I said. If I had to see Jackson Dart, I want to see him after the bye week. I'm not against that at all, man. By that time, we'll know exactly what the New York Giants are. Hopefully, we're still competitive. Hopefully, we're still in the playoff hunt at that point in time. But if not, then I don't see a reason why we wouldn't play Dart after the bye. Last 4 games of the season, that seemed like a good place to put him in if we're not, if we're mathematically out of it. It is what it is. Bookend tackles going on. Bookend Dart look good. Bo look good. Marcus Bo look good. Bookend Dart look good too. But bookend tackles. Marcus Bo looked like we finally got an offensive lineman correct as far as being able to draft one. Marcus Bo looked. They put him on the right side. They put him on the left side, and he did his thing. Shout out to Marcus Bo. Bookend says, I was impressed with his poise. Jackson Dart did his thing. What else you say? Couldn't throw the touchdown any better. He dropped that in the breadbasket for sure. And it's funny, too, because he put it in a place where only little Jordan Humphrey can get it. And when he let's see. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Let me know if I'm good, if I'm back. I don't know what happened right there. My man, Kyler says, if you look at Carter Phil, he was more dominant player. Middle linebacker in college. Dude would shoot up the middle and bull rush to center, and it's over the ability to quickly diagnose where the running is great. Listen, I like it all, man. I like it all. And for some reason, every time I click on the thing, it's taking me off the screen. So I might have to stop clicking on some of these comments and just read these comments. So I do apologize for that. Not sure what's going on with that. Bookend Tackles also says, but I was more impressed with some of the screens he threw with pressure. Again, I'm not. When I saw Jackson Dart, I thought he was comfortable. I thought that the play. Let's talk about the play calling. I thought that they were a little bit more aggressive when Jackson Dart was in there, or it could have just been Jackson Dart. When Russell Wilson was in there, you saw a lot of the check downs and a lot of the intermediate and short routes. Then when Jackson Dart got in here, they kind of opened up the playbook a little bit. So that might have been by design. I'm not 100% sure if it was or not, but you saw the offense open up even when Jameis Winston got in there. You saw him take a couple of shots down there, a couple of deep shots, and that's just Jameis Winston's game anyway. But you even saw the play calling get a lot more comfortable, throughout the preseason game. So I got nothing really to be mad about in this game, outside of our second team defense not being able to tackle. Let's get to more of these comments. My man James O'Keefe says Marcus Bowe was a steal in the 5th round if he keeps playing like he did today. Now that's a fact. Marcus Bowe did his thing. I'm happy about it. Let me get down to these comments. Hold on. Let me get all the way caught up and then see where we're at. I got it. I see I'm way behind in the comments. I'm gonna skip all the way down to get caught up to the comments. And then if I do miss a comment, just go ahead and type it again. But I got to get caught up in these comments. I'm like 12 minutes behind on these comments. That's crazy. Hold on just a moment. Shout out to my man Rick Torcher in the building. Again, Dash was good. We didn't look bad. New York NYG, you busters. Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Hirsch for real also says don't sleep on Timon Fox for edge depth. Timon Fox is fighting for his life right now, in my opinion. He is fighting for his life. That edge room is deep right now. I like Timon Fox too as a UDFA out of North Carolina. Surprisingly, the guy beat a lot of Lawrence Taylor's records at North Carolina. I don't know, man. It's an uphill battle for Timon Fox. My man Lynn says 4 running backs or 4 tight ends. Definitely 4 tight ends over 4 running backs. I think we only keep 3 running backs. The situation is what do you do with Turbo? That's my only question. Turbo made it. Turbo did some things today that a lot of people have been waiting to see. Even last year, a lot of people said, Turbo Miller's speed. You can't teach speed. I saw it today. Love what I saw too. My man DeMarco says, I know you're Shador. I know you're a Shador Sanders lover. Pause. But who do you think had a better first preseason game? Keep it 100. Come on, man. I don't want to do that. As far as the preseason goes, it's playing the quarterback position. Shador Sanders did some things yesterday, last night, that just the calmness in the pocket and stuff like that. It just looked different, and that's something that I'll die on that hill. But I think Shador Sanders is different. It's definitely different. Calm, didn't crack at all. Didn't fold under the pressure. Made some big plays. It wasn't perfect either. But it was good. It was good. But Jackson Dart is a New York Giant, so I'm gonna keep it Jackson Dart. I'm gonna keep it with Jackson Dart. TD Midas, what's going on? TD Midas, he says Darius Alexander was invincible. Invincible or invisible? Because we ain't see him the first half. He got there in the second half, and again, he had some good work. He definitely had some good work. Invisible, that's what you meant. Okay. I see you corrected this. Shout out to Trina. Trina in the building said, what up, Dad? She said, how many cornerbacks could we have on the team? 5. I think it's only going to be 5 cornerbacks. I can't even name those 5 cornerbacks right now. Obviously, Adebo, Banks, Flott. After that, may the best man win. But I think we only keep 5 cornerbacks. I don't think we keep 5 cornerbacks for sure. 5 safeties too, probably. 5 cornerbacks, 5 safeties, maybe even just 4 safeties. But I think those extra players are probably going to go towards the offensive side of the ball. DBM Dash, he said Montrell and Turbo both give us weapons on the depth chart that I think could really benefit us. Your thoughts? Montrell is making a case for himself. I don't have anything bad to say about Montrell. Every time, whether it's practice, now we've seen it in the preseason, he is a playmaker. I do think we only keep 6 wide receivers. So if Bo Collins can't get healthy, because we didn't see Bo Collins today, Montrell is right up there. If he continues to make plays in games, in preseason games, he might be looking at that wide receiver 6 spot. If he can also be valuable, possibly in special teams, he might have a chance. Right now, I think the top 5 wide receivers are, of course, Neighbors, Slayton, Wandell, Hyatt. I think Amir Smith-Marset is a front runner to be the returner right now. But when you start looking at Bo Collins, you start looking at the plays made by Montrell Washington too. They can make a push, man. Stranger things can happen, man. And then Turbo Miller, again, it's a numbers thing and it's a money thing with Devin Singletary. But if Turbo Miller goes into these next preseason games against the Jets and the Patriots and does something similar, Dable's going to have to start to think about that. He's going to have to think about what he really wants to do. Is it about loyalty to Singletary, or is it about a possible playmaker in Turbo Miller? So there's some things to think about for sure. Kelvin Davis says, just got off, but watched the game on my phone. We look good, big bro Dash. Yes, we did. We absolutely did. Won't stop, Dream Team. What's going on? He says, second defense look bad, bro. I'm sorry. Front secondary tackling, I talked about it. Won't stop. I talked about it. And that's the importance of playing in the preseason. Live tackling to the ground. We don't get that in practice. We don't do that in practice. We don't do that in the joint practices. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. My man Hirsch for real says Little Jordan Humphrey might make the roster. I don't know. I don't know. I would love it because he's one of those big body wide receivers, 6'4", 210, 215 pounds. I like the idea of Little Jordan Humphrey. It's going to be hard to crack that top 5. Now, again, are they willing to give up on Hyatt yet? That's the question, because he's a guy that's a 3rd round pick. That's a high pick. He didn't play at all really last year. Are they ready to give up on him? And that's the case, then Jordan Humphrey might have a chance. I don't think they're giving up on Hyatt yet, though. Hyatt got to play, though. He got to get on. Some way he got to make it onto the field. Got to make it onto the field. Shannon says, what's up with the real Miller? What that mean? What's up with the real Miller? Talking about Turbo? What's up with the real Miller? Turbo's doing his thing. If that's what you're talking about, the real Miller. All right. I ain't never seen him called or heard him called the real Miller. I'm assuming that's who you're talking about, Turbo Miller. TD Midas says starting secondary did not look bad. Banks looked bad. There were some plays where Banks did, they got the best of Banks. I'll say that. But as far as the secondary as a whole with that first team, they weren't even really tested. Like our defensive front was getting pressure. Secondary really didn't have to do much. Not too much. Hopefully it's the same thing throughout the season. Let's see. Bookend Tackle says they both played well. Who you talking about, Bookend? Again, I'm way behind on these comments still. Ryan O'Keefe says Dart been stepping up in the pocket since Ole Miss. I'm rooting for Shador too. I wanted Dart over Shador partly because of Dart steps up while Shador tries to escape backwards. I don't argue with it at all. That's stuff he has to clean up. Shador is known to retreat in the pocket. We've seen it. We saw it yesterday. Dart does step up, and Dart can take off too. Dart's definitely faster than Shador, that's for sure. He's a better runner. But yeah, each one of these guys, man, they got their strengths, they got their weaknesses. But at the end of the day, who's wearing Giants blue? That's all that matters to me. That's all that matters to me. Big Moose says no rush for Dart. Let him develop. That's a fact. I keep telling people. Has anybody seen Cop Pizzle yet? I saw that he put out a video. I wanted to see what his reaction was. I saw him on Twitter. He was going off with Jackson Dart. I'm curious to see what he says about Jackson Dart, because you already know. Cop Pizzle, big fan of Jackson Dart. He would even like to see him right away. So I'm curious to see what Cop Pizzle. I'm gonna check that video out later after the stream, though, for sure. But let me know, anybody that saw that video already, let me know what Cop Pizzle thinks about the game or what his reaction was. I didn't get a chance to see him. Ended up watching the game twice instead. B. Ramsey says, overall, we look good. My primary concern is the offensive line. They played timid and lacked any drive in the running plays. Secondly, the tackling was hard to watch. They missed a lot of easy tackles. Yeah, that second team was awful when it came to the tackling. I will say this, though, B. Ramsey. they didn't get the push that you would like them to get, but it wasn't bad. When we needed the short yardage, they were able to get it. JMS got some push. Van Roten got some push. And again, for the first showing, I don't think it was bad. Do you want to see more? Do you want to see them more dominant? Absolutely. That's why I wish they would have got a second series. And hopefully this is not the last time we see him this preseason. Brian Dable's a little shady when it comes to playing the starters in preseason. That's why today I was super excited when it was announced, but I was absolutely upset with only seeing these guys for one series. Even if you take out Russell Wilson, I would have liked to see Jackson Dart behind the starting offensive line as well. So I think there was some opportunity, even though everything worked out, everything looked good. We got the W, even though all that stuff happened. I really do wish he would have left the starting offensive line in there for at least another series, if not the entire first quarter. But we didn't get that. And I think that's a mistake. I think that's a mistake personally. You guys might think differently, but our offensive line definitely needs more reps. And I was not completely satisfied to your point, B. Ramsey. Just saying. He said, B. Ramsey also asked, what do you think we should do about Banks? We shouldn't do anything. Right now, they're treating it like a competition. We got to see Flat out there more. And whoever the best cornerback is gets to start. We got what, a couple more weeks to go before we see the Commanders in week 1. Somebody has to make the move, whether it's Flat or Banks. Somebody has to make the move. But at this point in time, the whole push to get Banks to turn his head around, I'm not sure if he's ever going to be able to do it. I don't know. I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know. Is it possible? Yes. Probable? Probably not. Shout out to my man KG in the building again. Your name is Paul, so I'm not going to say it. He says Smith-Marsette might be cut. I'm kind of upset that you said that because I thought he would have had a better showing today, especially in the kick return. We did not see it. Also, he didn't have an impact in the passing game as well. And then when you see guys like Montrell Washington making plays, Little Jordan Humphrey making plays, Gunnar Olszewski making plays, yeah, you get to thinking about, okay, what are we going to do with Smith-Marsette? And it sucks too, because shout out to the Newark-born Amir Smith-Marsette. He got to have a better showing in the next preseason, or it could happen. It absolutely could happen. Is it M Sports Podcast says, what's up, Dash? Dart looked good today, and also the D-line. My only concern is Banks not turning his head around. Everybody's saying the same thing, bro. When it comes to Banks, everybody is saying the same thing. Turn your head around. He might not be able to. It might be physically impossible for him to do it. Might be a mental block. I don't know. But if he was making plays without turning his head around, nobody would care. But it's all the plays that he could have made if he just turned his head around that he's not making. That makes all of us feel the same way. Thank you for the comment though. M Sports Podcast. Luann says, I remember when Dart was asked where he preferred to go in the draft. I think he said Miami, but it wasn't the Giants for sure. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think because I do remember him saying that he. See, now I'm getting him confused with J.J. McCarthy because I know J.J. McCarthy was on the Rich Eisen show before the draft last year, and he was talking about the Giants. But I could have swore Jackson Dart said that's where he wanted to be. That he did want to be with the New York Giants, and it wouldn't make sense if it was Miami. You said you don't know for sure, but Miami had Tua, so I don't know. But I got to look that up now. Now I'm curious. We got to check the Carfax on that. My man Kevin Brito in the building says AZ in the building. Let's go, Big Blue. Shout out to my man Kevin Brito. How you doing, brother? How you doing? It's hot out here. It is hot in Arizona. Jonesy 23 says Washington is going to make the roster. He might. He just might. Shout out to my man Joseph Wilcox in the building, man. I had to show him some love. He says, hey, Dash, Jackson needs to get down, and I don't mean like the song Get Down, Get Down. Now, that's a fact. He got to learn how to slide, man. Jackson got to learn how to slide, man. He the first time he get hit by one of these NFL linebackers, he got to learn how to slide, man. He got to get to it. I understand that he's tough as nails, but I also want you to play. I don't want you to get hurt unnecessarily. You know what I mean? Especially in the preseason. Slide, get down, slide. Unless it's like fourth down and you got to get the first down in order to, then you dive first. But slide, man. Live to play another play. Baghdad, what's going on, Baghdad? He says Turbo was balling 102 all-purpose yards, but he only got 22 yards on 10 rushing attempts. I'm gonna let that slide. He did have 102 all-purpose. When you look at the running game, though, when you look at the running game, obviously, 22 yards on 10 rushes is not ideal. It's not ideal. But he was running behind that second offensive line. And we already know about that second offensive line. Not the best. Not the best at all. I'm just happy that he got 100 total, man. 100 total. Oh, that's what you've been saying, Anders and Dart. Yeah, nah, they both good. They're absolutely both good. Is it hyphen Wade says, the more you hear about Tay Banks, the more I get nervous. What is it going to take for us to get what we anticipated from him as a first-round pick? We might not ever get it. And that's just honestly speaking. We might not ever get it. Jerome Henderson was a fantastic coach for the New York Giants. He ended up falling on the sword for Tay Banks last year. And he couldn't get Tay Banks to turn his head around. Now we're talking about Marquand Manuel. Could he get Tay Banks to turn his head around? We have not seen that yet. So it might just be a Tay Banks thing. We might not ever see it. I will say this, though. He looks good as far as being able to be a press corner. That's his strength. And as long as we're playing press, he should be okay. My man Jonesy says Bo looks solid. Bo looked really good. I'm giving Marcus Bo a game ball for sure. Jackson Dart gets a game ball. Turbo Miller gets a game ball. Marcus Bo gets a game ball. Also, shout out to Graham Gano. Shout out to Graham Gano showing that he still got some leg left. 50-plus yard field goals. That's all I needed to see. The only thing I don't need to see from Graham Gano is him chasing after returners. I don't need you pulling no more hamstrings, hurting, straining any more calves, doing anything like just kick the ball and get out the way. But shout out to Graham Gano, showing that he still got some leg left. Loved it. Stay healthy. That's all I got to say. Stay healthy. My man DBM says, Big Dash, any chance Asante Samuel could help this DB group? Only played 4 games last year, but take the flyer. Listen, I'm glad you said that because somebody else mentioned that on Twitter. How do I feel about Asante Samuel? I'm all for Asante Samuel. Now the thing about Asante Samuel is he's a nickel. He can play some outside, but you don't want him to be on the outside, permanently. And we already got Andrew Phillips, so that's one thing that I might push against it. But Asante Samuel's pretty good damn corner. I wouldn't mind bringing him in, see what he got left for sure. Shout out to Jonesy with the $9.99 super chat. Let's see that.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
All right, he says, Big Dash, what's up? The offense looked different. I know it's preseason, but we usually look like trash. We put up 34 points, brother. 34 points in the preseason. I'm here for that. Almost all the quarterbacks scored touchdowns. All the quarterbacks were able to move the ball down the field. If it wasn't for certain penalties and stuff like that, Russell Wilson most likely gets a touchdown as well. So it wasn't perfect. It was ugly at times, but we saw a lot of good today. And yes, the vibe in the building is absolutely different. There's some positivity in the building. There's some accountability in the building, and the guys look like they're playing for each other. So definitely love what I saw today. Shout out to you. Thank you for the love and support too, man. Jonesy. Let's see what we got going on here. John Davis says, you're right, Dash. Everything worked out. Good start to the preseason. Let's get it rolling. Now, let's keep building off of this. That's all you can do. Let's keep building off of this and see what we can do next week. Again, I'm curious to see what Dable does with the starters next week. Because, again, he has a track record of whenever we play these whenever we have these joint practices, we do not play the starters in that preseason game. I think this offensive line needs the snaps. And like, again, I said it earlier, John Michael Schmitz impressed me today. Was it overly impressive? No, but he was solid today. His name wasn't called. He wasn't giving up any pressures. He was solid in the run game. He was able to get to the second level. He wasn't the reason why we weren't successful today. And that's a step forward for John Michael Schmitz. So I was happy to see that. My man KG says slow cook Dart, drop Bo in hot grease, and get Hudson out of there. Now that's hilarious. That's it, because I know exactly what you mean with that. Now, you know what it is. Jackson Dart is a brisket, low and slow. You can't rush a brisket. That's who Jackson Dart is to me. You don't rush him on the field. Marcus Bo showed me today that you can drop him in the deep end of the pool, and I think he'll be just fine. But luckily right now, it looks like we won't necessarily need him if Andrew Thomas can get back. But if I'm forced to choose between James Hudson and Marcus Bo off of today's performance, I think Marcus Bo did a better job than James Hudson. And that's not a knock on James Hudson. Outside of the penalties, I thought he was pretty solid. But again, you can't have the penalties. You can't have the penalties. Brandon Upchurch says, I want to see Dart with the ones. Dude is going to bring more Super Bowl victories to the Giants than Eli did. I'm a huge Eli fan. Those are big words right there, man. You think he's going to bring more Super Bowl victories to I hope so. I'm a Giants fan like you're a Giants fan. I hope you're absolutely right. I hope he does bring more Super Bowls to the Giants. Those are big shoes, though. And this is only one preseason game. And I don't like to pump the brakes. I'm telling you to keep on saying what you're saying because I want it to be true. But Eli Manning is Eli Manning. 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time Super Bowl champion. You know what I mean? Shout out to you, though. B. Ramsey says, thanks, bro. Shout out to the show. And the Giants fans show Dash some love and hit that like button. I don't even know how many likes we'll hit, but make sure you hit that like button, man. That lets the algorithm know that we in the building, man. Late Night Giants Talk. We here every Saturday. Shout out to all the new viewers. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Nima says, I agree with you on the point. I wish we saw starters a little bit more. No, that's a fact. Offensive line, I needed at least one more series. I thought we were going to get a quarter. I had high hopes. Had very, very high hopes. And hopefully Dable does the right thing and puts the starters out there. And to your point too, I want to see Jackson Dart behind the first team offensive line. If you're not going to play Russell Wilson, a certain amount of snaps, then put Jackson Dart behind his offensive line. Because even if you don't believe that Russ needs more snaps, this offensive line definitely needs more snaps. Brandon says Dart doesn't slide. Yeah, he doesn't. My man KG says Marshall Green on Chat Sports almost said my whole name. He couldn't. He called himself. Nah, your name is crazy, bro. The name is crazy. You do it on purpose too, because your name before this name was crazy. I'm curious to see what the next name is going to be. Might be even crazier, but you got a track record right now, brother. I appreciate you, but the names is wild. Names is crazy. Darnell Big Money says, Dash, what the hell happened to Evan Neal? How he get hurt before the game? No, he got hurt in practice. I believe it was Thursday. Hamstring issue. And that sucks too, because we really needed to see Evan Neal. Well, at least I'll say I need to see Evan Neal. This would have been a perfect time to see Evan Neal in the offense at guard. And either we got bad luck or he has bad luck. Or maybe just all of us have bad luck when it comes to Evan Neal. But he definitely can't afford to be out, too much more. He definitely needs to play against the Jets. I don't know how serious the hamstring issue is, but it held him out of this game. And for me, he can't afford it. Contract year for him. He can't afford it. This will make it break a year for Evan Neal. He got to be able to get on the field some kind of way. And preseason was going to be the perfect time for him. I'm not trying to see him get snaps in a regular season without seeing him in the preseason. Absolutely not. Luann says, I just don't remember what team he wanted to go to, but I believe a warm weather team. I mean, who doesn't want to play in warm weather? A lot of people do. But we'll find out. We'll look it up. My man Christopher Tony, what's going on, Christopher Tony? He says, hey, Big Dash knows and everyone in the chat, we scored 34 points and won the first preseason game. Still need to clean up some stuff, but overall a good game. Exactly what I'm saying. That's the exact same feedback. 34 points. I love it. I love it. That second team defense, though. Got to clean things up. Got to be able to tackle. They broke way too many tackles, man. Broke way too many tackles. Big Reggie said, "What up, Dash? Happy we won today, but we got some work to do. Banks loves playing through the hands of receivers, absolutely, but for sure needs to get his head around and at least once a game. Listen, we might not see it, Big Reggie. We might not see it, man. It might just be a mental block. He's not getting his head around. He has made the conscious decision to just play through the hands of the receiver. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In his case, most of the time it doesn't. But he's always in the right spot, though. For the most part, he is always in the right spot. And to everybody's frustration, you got to get your head around, man. You got to be able to do it. Christopher Tony said, still don't know why they didn't use our starting wide receivers, just Robinson today, and second string secondary needs improvement. Sign another cornerback before the season. Well, Artie Green didn't play today either, and he's a pretty decent cornerback. But again, the wide receivers, no Hyatt, that was an injury thing. Slayton, I believe, also they just wanted to hold him out. Do we really need to see Slayton? I don't know. And then Neighbors is Neighbors with the toe. I don't need to see Neighbors. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm sitting here. Yeah. I thought it was weird too, because if you put Russ out there, you want him to be successful, but you didn't put out the wide receiver. So that was kind of strange for me. Hopefully we get good reps during the joint practices too, and then also for the Jets game. Michael McVeigh says offensive line played well, but I know you're still not sold on JMS. I'm late to the show. Sorry if you covered this. All right, I'll talk about it again. I think JMS had a good showing today. Was it perfect? No, but I think he had a good showing. I wish I would have saw him more. I wish I would have saw the offensive line more. I did talk about it a little bit, but I can't complain. JMS didn't do anything today that I would complain about. And again, I watched the game twice too. So yeah, I was making a conscious effort to watch JMS on every snap, and I don't have any complaints for him in this game today. No, but definitely need him to be more consistent. If he can continue what he did today, throughout the rest of preseason, then I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied, and that's a lot. That's saying a lot right now. El Scorcho, I'm worried about JMS. Didn't have a bad game today. Everybody, listen, I'm worried about JMS too, but he did not have a bad game today. Listen, I got nothing bad to say about him today, and trust me, when it comes to JMS, man, listen, I'm ready to give him the boot. I can't say he did anything wrong today. I think he did all right. Hyphen Way says, my optimism is slowly but surely growing. I don't like how certain content creators and media abundance, probably pundits, don't see us as a punchy, feisty team, but maybe I'm thinking too deep. We're not getting our respect yet. Man, listen, you're not wrong for thinking the way that you're thinking. We got to win games. We got to win real games. We're getting a little bit of credit when it comes to our defensive front. A lot of people are saying that we have a top defensive front that we can get pressure with 4. So we're getting some respect on that level. But as far as mainstream goes, they're still laughing at us. We're not getting the respect around the league. But for me, that's what the season is about, getting that respect back. Obviously, we want to win. Obviously, we want to go to the playoffs and stuff like that. But for me, just the basics is getting our respect back. And I think that's definitely what we'll see. My man Born for Sports says, I need Russ and the starters for at least 3 quarters next week. It's not going to happen, bro. That ain't Brian Dable style. We know it. You know it. I know you know it. That's not his style, man. Again, that joint practice, he's going to be like, I think we got some good enough looks throughout practice. I'm going to hold the starters out again. And I think it's a mistake. But that's his track record. I'm hoping that he does something different. I'm hoping that he puts in the starting offensive line that we can see him for. You said 3 quarters. I'm hoping for at least 3 series. Can I get 3 series? 3 quarters. I wish. That's old school football, man. That's prior to the 2020s when we used to see see these guys get 3 whole quarters, play a whole half of the preseason. Nowadays, we're just lucky getting 1 quarter. And in today's case, we're lucky getting 1 series from the offense. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. El Scorcho says, I kind of hope they keep Winston. He is a great character. Keeping Winston, I think keeping Winston is very, very important. We saw the videos, the clips. The locker room loves him. For a guy that's not a starter as a quarterback, he's still a good leader in the locker room to have. He brings a lot of it. Now Russ brings a lot of positivity. Russ brings hard work. Jameis Winston brings energy. He brings that energy. He brings positivity as well. And I think having both Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston is probably the best thing to have because we're still a young team. Just think about these players. This is a young team. You need good leadership. I'm not getting rid of Jameis Winston. I don't care. It's more important to have that chemistry than it is to have a 5th round pick. In addition, I'd rather have Winston than a 5th round pick. If we're going to be honest, you're not getting more than a 5th round pick for Winston. Ain't nobody crazy at the end of the day. I mean, if you told me you can get a 2 for Winston, then we can talk. But I don't think that happens. I don't think you can get more than a 5th, maybe a 4th because he's a quarterback. But if you ask me right now, I'm keeping Winston. I'm keeping Wilson. I'm keeping this quarterback room intact the way it is for 2025. The money makes sense and everything. Why would we get rid of Winston just to have to turn around and pay somebody else to be the backup quarterback in 2026? Doesn't make sense to me, especially with the money. Like, we were supposed to have like over $100 million in cap space. Well, we don't have that anymore going into 2026. We spent a lot of that money this year. The quarterback room right now, what are we paying Winston? Pennies, right? $2 million. I think it's $2 million in 2026. Jackson Dart already got his money with his rookie contract for the most part, as far as guarantees and the bonus. We got a lot of people to pay. At some point in time, they're going to restructure Dexter Lawrence. You know that's coming. That has to be coming. Like, we need all the money we can get right now. For sure. Shout out to my man, that dark friend. He said, member for 3 months. Salute to you. Thank you for the love and support. He says over under 7.5 starts for Neil. I mean, can a man get healthy first? Can I see him in the preseason first? For the future of the New York Giants, it would be ideal to have Neil starting because he won't cost you a lot of money. You can re-sign him. But right now, I can't even get him on the field. What are we going to do about that, man? What are we going to do about that? Luann says we have to replace Neil in next year's draft. We don't got to replace Neil. He's not even starting right now. We got to replace Greg Van Roten. He's the starter right now. That's what we got to replace. And I was hoping that Evan Neal was going to be that guy. Baghdad said, I hope we get to see Flat. I hope so too. KG says, what I like most about the offense, first down, positive yards, 2nd and 7 looks so much better than 2nd and 13. That's a fact. Every quick first down pass served its purpose. I think we were able to move the ball. We had some check downs, but Russell Wilson was quick. Russell Wilson was quick in his decision making. And again, we went right down the field until the penalties happened. Shout out to my man, Coach Ed, in the building, said peace and blessings. Coach Ed, peace and blessings to you. That's a fact. How you doing tonight, Coach? Christopher Tony says, Born for Sports, I totally agree. Russ needs to cook. Now, we do need Russ to cook. I'm Somebody says, I think we did very well, given it's just preseason. Spoken noise. Yeah, preseason is what it is, but I think everybody's excited with what they saw. Everybody's excited to see the offense put up 34 points. Everybody's excited to see that the starting defense is as good as advertised in the short time that we did see him. Mitchell Trubisky was in hell from the first snap. He felt pressure on every play. I think we got at least 3-4 quarterback hits on Trubisky, and also the tell for that is they left Trubisky in that first team offense in there. Why? They waited for us to put our second team in there, and they didn't even score. They weren't even able to move the ball until that second team defense was in. And I think their coach made them do that because they had to get something positive out of that offense. But they also had to wait till the New York Giants took their starting defense off the field. It's real. This defense is real. Again, we went against a pretty solid offensive line. All of the starters were playing for the Buffalo Bills, and it was like nothing. We got pressure like it was nothing on those guys. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. And again, no Dexter Lawrence. No Dexter Lawrence. Remember that. So once Dexter Lawrence is on the field, oh boy, we in business. Giants defense, man. I was already hyped about the defense, but right now, it is what it is. I'm very excited for this defense. Ryan O'Keefe says this D-line can wreck games. I hope BS roughing calls don't negate the talent and hard work. It was an awful roughing the passer call on Roy Robinson Harris. Awful. And even in the replay, he got there. He got there. Now they said he should have let up a little bit. How was he supposed to know that the ball was already out of his hands? He didn't know that. How was he supposed to know that? He didn't. He had no idea. Like, come on, it's football at the end of the day. I understand you need to protect the quarterbacks, but that's a football play for sure. That is absolutely a football play. KG letting Born for Sports know that 3/4 is a fantasy, brother. Yeah, three quarters is asking a lot. He knows that. That's asking a lot. That's asking a lot. Big Dave says I'm betting over on the season wins. They can keep that respect. Yeah, I'm betting over too. They started off with 5.5. I took that already. I don't know if they moved it or not. Let me know, Big Dave, if they moved it or if it's still 5.5. Vegas have it at 5.5 for the wins. Coach Ed said Christopher Tony. Oh, we talking to Christopher Tony. I'm gonna stay out y'all conversation. Brandon says Dart is about to get Giants fans out of a nightmare. Mark my words, Big Blue will be back in the Super Bowl with this team sooner than later. Listen, Brandon, in order to keep the streak alive, we got to win the Super Bowl by 2029. In order to keep the streak alive of a Super Bowl win in every decade since the 80s, we have until 2029 to do so. I need a Super Bowl by 2029. Keep hope alive. KG says, I want to see KT setting the edge. He was about to get burned, but he got lucky, and the Bills running back slipped. I did see that play. You know what's crazy, too, because people were tweeting that Thibodeau had hurt himself in, like, the warm-ups and that he was possibly not going to play, but he was right in there. He was right in there at the beginning. Shout out to my man, KG.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Shout out to him with the $5 super chat. He says, I came in late and I'm going to check out early, but I'm going to watch the whole live tomorrow. He says, F those Bills, sports announcers, good game, and good night to everybody. Shout out to you, KG. Thank you for the love and support. I was actually mad at I'm glad you said that too. When Jackson Dart threw that touchdown pass, they didn't even play the replay. They didn't even really talk about it. They were sitting here talking about the new stadium that was being built. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, it's a touchdown happening. And y'all talking about, I don't care about y'all stadium that's going to be built and ready a year from now. I don't care about the grass. I don't care about the seats. They just talking about, I'm like, listen, we just scored a touchdown. He didn't get his proper respect, and we did not get a replay. That's crazy in my opinion. Absolutely crazy. Shout out to Ronnie with the $9.99 super chat.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Ronnie says they looked a little sloppy on defense and offense. I'm assuming that's what you said. They look a little sloppy, but got the job done. Secondary still needs help. Now, secondary does need help. The defense looked good. That starting defense looked good. It was sloppy once the second team got in there. Defense looked good. The offense moved the ball consistently, but definitely a lot of things that they can clean up. It was not perfect, to say the least. It was not perfect, but they got the job done. Great post. Great comment. Let's see. Ivan Wade says hating the hating real. Can't wait to see whenever that happens again. I don't know. Missed opportunity. Oh, Ronnie said missed opportunity. Yeah, there was some missed opportunities out there for sure. Missed opportunities out there for sure. So I do want to get into these notes because I'm caught up on the comments. Again, if you guys, if I missed any comments, you just go ahead and type that in again. I'm gonna get to some of these notes. So I did say if I got some game balls to give out, Jackson Dart definitely gets one. Turbo Miller definitely gets one. Marcus Bowe is also getting one. And Graham Gano, again, Graham Gano is back, confident in his leg. Shout out to him. Some other things that I saw. And just talking in general, because we've been through the comments, I didn't get a chance to give a real breakdown. The defense, our defense, first team defense, looked very fast. They got good pressure on Trubisky. They were very, very aggressive, and they forced punts. That's exactly what you want to do. Turn around to the offense. Again, offense was consistent. I'll say that offense was consistent. It was not that first team offense. It was not explosive at all, but it was efficient. They moved the ball down the field. Russell Wilson took what the defense was giving him. He made some smart decisions, but we also did not push the ball downfield. The one time he pushed the ball downfield to Wan'Dale Robinson, it was great timing on that throw as well. Let me get to my other notes. Again, you see the handy dandy notebook. I keep some of these notes on me. I want to talk about the defense, right? So, well, actually, let's talk about some of the stat lines, right? So Jackson Dart with 12 for 19, 154 yards, 1 touchdown. Fantastic debut. Russell Wilson, 6 for 7, 28 yards. Again, he was consistent, no touchdowns, no real complaints. Maybe if they played a little bit longer, you'll see more from Russell. Would have seen more from Russell Wilson. Jameis Winston went 7 for 11, 62 yards and a touchdown. And Tommy DeVito, 10 for 14, 73 yards and 1 touchdown. And again, none of our quarterbacks got sacked. We might have got a little bit of pressure. You might have seen some guys scramble for some runs, but we did not give up a sack, and that's kudos to the offensive line. Despite wanting to see them play better and keep that chemistry and be more consistent, they did a pretty solid job against the Bills, and especially against their starters too. Just want to talk about some of these series, right? That first series from Dart. So for you guys out there, right? When you saw Dart in that second series, again, he didn't score on his first series. That second series, he scored on that third touchdown to Humphreys. How did y'all feel when y'all first saw Dart before the touchdown? Were you a little bit nervous? Did you feel like he was comfortable? What do you guys think? That first Dart series, because again we didn't score any points. We did end up punting. So I was kind of sitting here like, okay, I see what Brian Dable's trying to do. I think that they chose certain plays specifically to showcase Jackson Dart. I think they opened it up a little bit more than they did for Russell. Because you didn't see the tight ends involved as much when Jackson Dart was on the field. You saw them push the ball downfield. So I think they did some things on purpose, depending on what quarterback was in there. And then once you got to Jameis, Jameis just was throwing the ball there. Jameis was dangerous. He was throwing the ball everywhere. You saw he almost got picked off. So I just thought that the play calling in general was for the quarterbacks that were in there, not necessarily the tempo of the game. I think they had certain plans, and this is Mike Kafka. I think they had certain plans of what they wanted to see from certain quarterbacks, and I think they did succeed in that. They wanted to move the ball efficiently with Russell Wilson. That's what they did. They wanted to see Jackson Dart be aggressive, and that's what they did. And again, Tommy DeVito, good showing. Jameis Winston, good showing. I'm seeing that MKM said I wasn't nervous. Luann said she was comfortable. Ronnie says they have to better watching and reading the defenses during the offensive plays. Okay. Christopher Tony says maybe this is the beginning of things to come. Hopefully, your thoughts. I think it's all positive. I think it's all positive. When you, even like I said, even when you saw Brian Dable at the end. Brian Dable, he seemed happy. He seemed pleased. They asked him about Jackson Dart. He said Jackson Dart did a lot of good things. Listen, and I said it earlier. Like Brian Dable, Jackson Dart tied at the hip. The success that Jackson Dart has, Brian Dable is going to get a lot of credit for that. So I think him having a good showing. I don't know if I ever seen Brian Dable, speak that proudly about a quarterback in a preseason game. And go back and watch it. So let me know if I'm tripping or not. Go back and watch it. John Davis said Jameis ain't scared. Yeah, Jameis ain't never been scared. Jameis ain't worried about that. He gonna let it fly. He'll throw an interception and not even think about it. He won't blink. Lil Flame said Jackson Dart already looking better than DJ. I ain't gonna argue with that at all. Not gonna argue with that at all. Also, Lil Flame says Jackson Dart is Josh Allen 2.0. No wonder Dable drafted the kid. I hope so. I hope so. Hyphen Wade says, considering Jackson Dart is going to be sitting the entire year, hopefully just getting glimpses of him is exciting. Glad to hear positive reviews. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. My man Adrian says, man, I was waiting for a video from you whole time you was live. Nah, I thought about doing a video, but I knew I was going live. Trust me. I wanted to do a quick video. I just said, nah. I saw that like all the content creators were live. It was like the fan base was spread thin between a lot of the bigger channels and in the underground channels and stuff like that. The fan base was spread thin. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna wait to go live and talk my business and that's what we're doing now. So appreciate you for tapping in. Maybe I should put out a video, but I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna let this one live, man, and see how it goes. Carmelo says, I think they did very well and they played hard. No, they did. They absolutely played hard. Are you talking about a specific unit as far as offense and defense, or are you just talking about the team in general? Let me know for sure. Kevin Brito says, week one we will have our wide receivers and the offense will look better. Plus Scatterboo is a difference maker in the run game. It was just a preview. Now I agree with that 100%. I agree with that. Like I said, there were certain parts in this game that I wish Scatterboo was out there because I think he would have been able to do some things for sure. For sure. Adrian says for sure had to make a business decision. Now that's a fact. Listen. I've been up a long time too today. Listen, after that game, I watched the game twice too, man. I wanted to make sure that I had a good understanding of what I was going to be talking about tonight when it came to this game. And that's why I said I went back and looked at the offensive line. Like again, JMS, not mad at all to JMS. I expected him to be like a weak link today, and he wasn't. Again, very, very impressed with Marcus Bowe. Kubis did an okay job. He did get beat once. And I believe he also had a penalty called on him. But overall, like I said, the offensive line did pretty well. There's always room for improvement, though. And I think I'm caught up here. Shout out to my man, Coach Ed. Said everyone hit the like button, sub up, and share on all social media platforms. That's a fact. And again, Coach Ed, shout out to Coach Ed. If you're a New York Giants fan, make sure you subscribe to my man, Coach Ed Gladney, in his amazing world of sports. Fantastic Giants content creator, but not only that, talks all sports with the Aboriginal Sports Network as well. Shout out to those guys too, Big Pat and them over there. He putting in the work, man. So if you're not subscribed to Coach Ed, make sure you guys go ahead and do that, man. Make sure you guys go ahead and do that. And I think I'm all caught up. Start to wrap this thing up. Comments are getting a little bit slower. Ed Lid, shout out to Ed Lid. He says, not gonna lie, kind of feels good, Dash. I see the vision, Ed. Yeah, I see the vision too. I see the vision too. Is it? I don't even know how to pronounce it. He said, is it Caillou? Is it Kaya Okuya? Brad Pitt. I'm assuming that's your name. Let me know if I slaughtered that name or not. He said, how was Turbo's performance? Turbo's performance was fantastic. Had 100 total yards. 80 in the air, 80 receiving, I should say, and then another 22 yards on the ground. So he had a solid day today, to the point where a lot of people are saying Devil Singletary who. That's how good of a performance he had today. I'll leave it at that. Oh, Carmelo, you said he was talking about the team in general. Okay, I thought so. Renee Ochoa says if Dart stayed in the game, he would have had 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 50. Yeah, I think that was absolutely possible. Just knowing Brian Dable, we knew he wasn't getting in that third quarter. He wasn't getting in the second half, especially after he was able to move the ball the way that he did. But I'm with you, Renee. If he stays in that game, he possibly could have could have threw for another 150 yards, which would have cracked the 300-yard spot, though, for sure. Again, sky's the limit for Dart right now. Just wait till we actually get the weapons out there. We was out there without our main weapons, and we're able to put up 34 points. So we accomplished something today for sure. Kevin Brito says Dable was smiling all game. That's a good sign. That's a fact. Happy Dable he was mad about the penalties, though. He was definitely mad about the penalties, but for the most part, he was smiling. He was happy to get the W. The team was happy to get a W. Like, I understand that the preseason is a preseason, and a lot of people, say that the preseason doesn't matter. For a young team like the New York Giants that have a lot to prove, winning in the preseason matters. When you've been losing the way that we've been losing, winning in the preseason matters. You want to take the wins in the preseason and hope that it carries on. And when you have a good performance from your starting units, I think it's easier to believe for those guys, for the group, for the roster, the players, to believe that they're moving in the right direction. Again, you got to believe it before you do it. And I think the squad has bought in to what's going on in 2025, and they got good leadership now too. So I think they did a good job. Low Flame says, who had a better, come on, man. I answered that question earlier. He said, who had the better performance, Dart or Sanders? Dart got all the hate when he actually had to compete with the top competition in college. I think they both had a good performance. If you ask me just overall, I'm still going to lean Sanders, but Dart is a New York Giant, and shout out to Dart, so I'm going to give it to Dart. Adrian says, I know I'm late, so you probably talked about 25 and 80 Washington, like what they did today. We'll keep an eye out. Montreal Washington is definitely on a lot of people's radar, if he wasn't already. He was already the guy making all of the wild plays in practice. He had the crazy one-handed catch from Dart in practice. I believe it was earlier this week, and he went into the preseason and showed out. So he is definitely on the radar. When you're seeing injuries to Hyatt, injuries to Bo Collins, really didn't see much Juice Wells today. Hopefully we see more of those guys too later. Gunnar Olszewski had a game too. But no, Turbo Miller and Montreal Washington are bubble players that are very close to possibly making this roster. If they can string together some more performances like today, they got a really good chance of making the roster, in my opinion. Let me know how you think about that, or what you think about that. Kevin Brito says we won't knock Dart's potential until he's throwing to Leak and the ones. Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that too. I do want to see that too. Gates family says our DBs were getting exposed. Thoughts also terrible. Yeah, we had 10 penalties. 10 penalties to Buffalo's 4 penalties, I believe. Can't have that. Our DBs, when it came to that second string defense, absolutely. Not only that, though, poor tackling from everybody when it came to that second team defense. Listen, it is what it is. I'll chalk it up as the first game, but this is why I put out all those videos talking about playing the starters, is because this is a time where you can allow missed tackles to happen, and hopefully it gets cleaned up by the time we get to the real games. We definitely need to do that. Shout out to my man Tony Owens in the building. What's going on? Let's see. My man Joseph Wilcox says it is difficult to access the team as a whole, or assess. It's difficult to assess the team as a whole. You have the second team against the first, and a third against the second. You know what I mean? It's not apples to apples. Maybe only in the first quarter. That's why I said what I said. I was happy with what I saw with the first unit. After that, it's a hodgepodge of first mixed with the second team, or second team mixed with the third team. To your point, Joseph. It's hard to make a true, or to get a true analysis of what we're seeing. But when it comes to the first team, very, very pleased. Very, very pleased. All right, we had hit that hour and a half mark. We over that. I'm gonna start to wrap this thing up. Shout out to my man Capitan. I didn't even see you there. Shout out to my man Raph. What's going on, Raph? How you doing? I just want to go through this, see if I missed anything else. I think I'm all caught up. Yeah, I think we're good here. So yeah, if you want to get your last couple of comments in, make sure you guys go ahead and do this. Do that right now before we wrap things up. If you got any questions, if you want to make any statements, if you have your own analysis, please put that in the comment section right now. That way we can talk about it. And also, you guys get a chance to, say what's on your mind, share what was on your mind. So I'm gonna leave the comment section open for a little bit longer, and then we're gonna check out, man. And again, fantastic showing today for the New York Giants. It wasn't perfect, but it was a W. It absolutely was a dub. Shout out to my man Joseph Wilcox with the $7 super chat.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
And he says, Night Dash. That's it. Just Night Dash. Short, sweet, to the point. Now I appreciate that, Joseph. You already know. I'm happy. It seems like the grandkids are letting you live a little bit, letting you get your piece. I know you've been chasing them around all day. Shout out to you. All right. It doesn't look okay. Hyphen Wade with the comments says, looking forward to the Jets joint practice. Heard Fields played pretty decent tonight. Looking forward to seeing how we respond to that. And I look forward to next week for the next preseason game. Peace. Now, shout out to you, Hyphen Wade. Again, it's almost 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Shout out to everybody that's still in the building, still 132 strong. Shout out to everybody that did hit the like button, and shout out to everybody that did subscribe to the channel. And again, if you are a New York Giants fan, you're in the right place, your family. Join the Big Blue Nation. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to you guys. Lil Flame says, you are the best Giants content creator, Dash. Lil Flame, checking out. Shout out to you. I appreciate that, man. Much love and respect. Luann says, you're off tomorrow, right? Yeah, no, I'm off tomorrow. I don't do too many Sundays. You know that. Because obviously, once the football season starts, we doing the live reaction to every game. So right now, I'm enjoying my Sundays off. But as soon as the season starts, we got the Saturday night game or the late night Giants talk on Saturday, and we got the reaction right after the game. Live reaction after every game on Sunday. So, we're getting busy. We're turning things up for sure. For sure. Casey says, I can't wait to watch Hard Knocks this week. Yeah, because we will be featured on that, because obviously the Buffalo Bills are on Hard Knocks. They will feature this game that was played today on Hard Knocks. Hopefully we get to see some sound bites and get to see, some replays, through the eye of HBO. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Christopher Tony says, good night, Big Dash Nose, and everyone in the chat. That's a good place to end it right now. So, again, just to recap everything. Good showing for the New York Giants today. Happy to get the dub. The defense looks for real. The offense looks efficient. Do we want to see more explosive plays? Absolutely. But again, we didn't have our starting wide receivers out there. Next preseason game, hopefully we get to see everybody, and hopefully we get to see the offensive line for more than just one series, even though they did a solid job today outside of the penalties by James Hudson. Shout out to Marcus Bowe. Shout out to Turbo Miller. Shout out to Jackson Dart for a fantastic debut. Lifted the weight off of my shoulders personally. And yeah, man, hopefully everybody enjoyed that, and hopefully it just gets better from here. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And for one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Nose, Big Blue Nation.